So I'm currently traveling. I'm away for about 10 days. Sometimes I'm away for 2 weeks. Sometimes it's been up to a month. Even in the past, I've been gone for 3 months at a time. In a given year, I travel a ton. I'd say at least 3 months of the year of any given year, I am away on the road, and I continue to resell even when I'm away. And I get a ton of questions, and that's why I wanted to focus some of the video about today is how I manage to resell from the road without closing down my business, how I continue to ship and sell, and I want to clarify a lot of that stuff and show you exactly what I do for my process and what works for me. And I want to highlight, while I am up here, part of this process is continuing to find and visit thrift stores along the way. So I have stuff to sell from the road, and I have a couple fantastic finds on this particular trip that I'm going to highlight for you guys. And I hope we all enjoy and learn something together. So let's hop into it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the utter depths of the entire internet. I appreciate you guys being here. My name is Kyle. I've been an online reseller for the past 14 years. I'm a six-figure income earner every year as my primary source of income. And the purpose of these videos, the purpose of my entire channel, 14 years ago, I didn't know anything about online reselling. I went through the rabbit hole, the deep rabbit holes of YouTube, and found that people were going into Goodwills, finding stuff for a couple bucks and then selling it for exponentially more on the internet. And I was hooked because I've always loved good garage sales. I've always loved the thrill of a treasure hunt. So that's what really got me started. And then it was all history from there, where it was firsthand experience. Outside of that firsthand experience of going out, doing it myself, going out and doing it yourself, the best thing that you can do, YouTube University is full of resellers sharing their knowledge and their insights and their process and their business models. And that's what I wanted to add to the community. For a long time, I didn't think I had anything to add to the community, but I realized pretty quickly that, you know what, we all do things a little bit differently. We all live in different parts of the US, which can have such a huge effect on the kind of inventory that we might find out in the wilds. But the whole purpose of this is just to share my business model, how I think, how I do things, because we're so different from each other, and each of us has such great knowledge and insight into offering to each other. We continue to learn from each other. One of the things in this video that I'm going to do is share my screen with you to show you about vacation mode on eBay. Some people are aware that you can put it on like a vacation mode, time away mode, but some people just don't know, or some people are aware but aren't sure how to do it. So I wanted to show you exactly how that works and what I do. Like on this particular trip when I'm away for 10 days, I'll show you my exact process for what I do when I'm going away in terms of reselling. Plus, I'm going to be talking about how I resell from the road.
And here we're at the Thrift Shop, aptly named the Thrift Shop, just outside of Cooperstown, New York, where the Baseball Hall of Fame is. One of my favorite shops in upstate New York. So check it out if you're in the area. Right when I walk in, I found two sterling silver items. This one actually weighed, this little like napkin holder, candle holder thing was actually weighed a little bit more than this little cup. So just by holding these things, I'm getting more familiar. I knew there was some value. $22 is a little high for this, more than I want to pay. But I knew based on the weight that it was going to have some value. And if you've seen in the past, I have a buddy who pays a really high percentage. Estimated value for these 58 grams of sterling silver is about 55. All said and done, I'll probably make like 40 to 45 bucks on those things. All the other stuff here was silver plated, so I put that back. Then I go over to DVDs, and you know what I'm looking for is the sealed stuff, obscure titles, usually like celebrities' early movies or complete series of TVs, that kind of thing. I did find this brand new sealed Undisputed. I was actually shocked with the price on this. Used, it was selling for a little over $20. This one's brand new, has a great sales rank on Amazon. I'll probably get $25 for this and make roughly 14 to 15 bucks. I don't love selling glassware, but I'm always looking for unique things that you never know. So I always check anyway. I found this Jelly Belly. It's kind of unique, kind of fun. Haven't really seen one out in the wilds before. It's only $1. Thought it was a solid price, but it's only selling $20 consistently, all in, including shipping. So I didn't want to deal with that, especially because the sales rank or the sell-through rate is really low. Wilton pants, I know a lot of resellers avoid these. Usually I do, especially when they're $6. But again, it's just one of those things I like to check out. This Cars one was actually selling for 30 bucks used on Amazon. I can probably get like 40 bucks, and it sells pretty decently on Amazon for that. So I think I'm going to sell it for about 40 bucks and make more than $20. This Spider-Man sells for over 60 bucks on Amazon, but the sales rank is awful. Probably will never sell on Amazon, and on eBay, there's just not enough profit when paying $6 for it. So I left the other ones behind, but I did get that Cars one. Then I recognize these shoes. I've seen them in the past. They're like Incas, and they're really cool looking, like this mixed fabric stitched look. I actually would love a pair of these myself, but they are kind of pricey. I don't want to buy them for myself because I'm cheap. But these were a little beat up, a little bit dirtier than I was hoping they would be at first glance. But even used, they sell for like 35 to 50 bucks. So I ended up leaving them behind. There was just a little bit too much damage and a little bit too much wear, unfortunately. But they're really cool shoes. But I left them behind as I think they were like 10 bucks used. So then I found this. This was completely unexpected. I don't do a ton of books. I don't search book sections. However, I just happened to look. This was a really pretty book. It didn't have a barcode. Anytime books don't have barcodes is when I'm more curious about looking them up. And the artwork's really unique. And a lot of resellers, if things don't have barcodes, I know, specifically books, they tend to just kind of leave them behind. But it's called The Opportunity. And this was a great opportunity as they had two of them, and they sell for over 40 bucks used. So I'm going to make, 30 bucks on these things on Amazon, as I were only $1 at the store here. So this was a fantastic little find.
So whenever I travel with this basic reselling kit. It's like a micro version of my setup at home. It doesn't have everything, obviously, but it has a little bit of a lot of different things. I have a lot of smaller boxes, various size boxes, poly bags, different size poly bags. I'll show you in here in a second. I always travel with a box of traveling paper, and in here is like the main kit where I have my scale. I basically have two of these. One that always sits in a bucket that's ready to go for the road trip. And then obviously the one that I have is like a more permanent setup at home. And inside here, you'll see various size poly bags that I bring. Most of the stuff is geared towards selling smaller items, and I'll touch up on that in a second. A little bit of bubble wrap, some more small boxes. Inside you can see like a tape. I have extra tape. The Rolo labels is my traveling Rolo kit. Some measuring boxes, measuring clothes. So this is just like a very basic kit of everything I have at home. This is everything I need to resell outside of the actual inventory. And the reason I bring smaller boxes and I don't really travel with bigger stuff, obviously it's for space. I don't want to travel with a bunch of random size large boxes. And a lot of inventory that I find on the road, I try to keep smaller because it's easier to ship stuff. If I'm in the middle of Montana or the middle of Virginia or California, wherever I happen to be, it's just easier to ship, store, manage smaller stuff from the road. So a lot of this stuff, as you can see, will just be easier stuff, and I try to avoid anything that's too breakable. So anything, I prioritize things that I can ship in like poly bags, for example, instead of things that might need bubble wrap or a lot of packaging. So it's a really simple process. Honestly, it's no different than you're reselling from your home space. It just requires a little bit more creativity, a little bit more resourcefulness. And if you need stuff outside of the packaging stuff you bring, I go to dollar stores. If I need larger boxes, oftentimes I'll go back to my roots of going to recycling, the recycling bins that are either at people's houses on garbage night or behind strip malls or restaurants, and find larger boxes if I need it. But again, I try to focus on, sometimes I actually bring small inventory, like I'll bring a box or a bin of something like this and just fill it with really small, easy to ship and manage and store inventory. But this is exactly how I do it. This is just my traveling kit. And so no matter where I am in the USA, I have materials that I can ship stuff, and there's post offices obviously wherever you go. So this is how it's done. Very simple.
And I've found these before, these Royal Sovereign coin counters. Different models have different values. This one was on the lower end. They were selling for 20 bucks, a little higher obviously than I would like to pay at a thrift store. However, inside it is brand new, as you'll see here in a second. And $20 is a fair price considering that it is brand new. And it does sell for about 90 bucks on Amazon. So I'm going to more than double my money on this thing. So it's a good find. And just a reminder for all of us to sometimes we just got to let that shit go. And I know I need to remind myself of that sometimes. And I find this, the Thief, another sealed DVD, looks kind of like an obscure title. And on the cover there, why I was intrigued, it says it was an Academy Award nominee back in 1997. So I did check it out, and glad I did, because used it sells for 21 bucks. New I can probably get, again, like 25 bucks and make a solid $15+ on that. I sell a lot of these phone sets. It seems like some people may skip them or overlook them because it's kind of like old technology at this point. However, I find these out in the wilds often, and this one actually was pretty brand new. I don't know if it was ever used or not. And on Amazon, it's selling for about 87 bucks brand new. I'll sell it like new condition for maybe like $65 to $70. There wasn't much value on eBay. Maybe I could get like $40 for it in this condition. So I'm going to be selling this on Amazon. And you can see with the revenue calculator on the Amazon app, if I sell this for 69 bucks, after fees and cost of purchase, what I put at 18 bucks, I'm going to be making about $37 plus for my profit. That's a 54% net margin. So I did pick this up. I paid 15 bucks, obviously plus tax. And I think I'll be getting, close to $40 in my pocket. I love this place, $3,700 just last week for the SPCA. I love these little shops, and that's why I love shopping at the mom and pop shops. It really feels like you're contributing to society. Then I don't do well in this Salvation Army, but I'm always looking, these blue, green, yellow tags, there's sales on those. One thing I do love is they color coordinate the shelves, and it looks very pretty. And I was happy to see that. But I find these ink. I find a lot of ink out in the wilds. I know some resellers complain when I talk about ink because they don't seem to find it, but I find it all the time. And they were $2 a piece. They weren't really worth much, surprisingly. However, these were really old. These were expired in 2016. Normally, I would pick these up for $2 a piece, lot them up, and sell them all together for about 35 bucks. But being that they're almost 10 years old, I left these behind. I don't like selling ink that's older than, say, 4 years expired. So these were far too gone. Did find this SpongeBob PS3 game, blue tag, so half off that $5 price tag, only paying $2.50. That makes me very happy, and it sells for roughly 20 bucks. So I'll make, I don't know, maybe 10 bucks thereabouts, $8 to $10 on this game, and it should sell pretty quickly. Then I find these New Balance fresh foam shoes, a little bit dirty on the bottom, but no biggie. I couldn't tell what the price was. It looks like I said $9.99 yellow. If in fact it was yellow, that means these are only $1. A little bit dirty, but nothing too bad. And the condition was actually pretty nice. Hard to read the tag, but they were women's size 8. And I can clean them up in the areas that matter. It seems like they sell anywhere from like 25 bucks with shipping up to like $50. So I'm going to try somewhere in between, maybe sell these for 40 bucks. And they were only $1 at the register. So made a fantastic couple of buys. Everything was half off. I only paid just under $4, and I'll make some decent profit on these things.
It's actually relatively straightforward and simple, although there are some things that need more explanation. And I'm going to get into that after this brief introduction here. But basically, I have 2 separate eBay selling accounts, and one of those is exclusively used for when I'm traveling, and even more specifically, when I'm traveling for more than 7 days, give or take a day or two. So if I'm gone for less than 7 days, I actually don't use that account. I don't sell on my traveling account. I still sell on my main account. And that may sound crazy, and I think that's what some of the questions are from, because I could be 2,000 miles away from not have any access to my store. However, I'm still selling from my store. So that's something that does need a little bit more explanation in this next part. That said, if I'm traveling for less than 7 days, that's when I will basically shut down my main selling account and use exclusively my traveling account for wherever I go, and just exclusively list and ship from that separate account. So let's hop into the stuff that I think people may have questions about that want a little more explanation. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm going to go through vacation mode or time away mode. And what I do, there's a lot of different options. Some of you may be familiar with this process, but I do get a lot of questions. So I'm just going to talk about what I do, why I do it, how to do it for this vacation mode. And right on your seller hub, your overview, and if you scroll all the way to the bottom, and you see here on the left here, there's a time away button. And I do want to preface this also by saying I'm 100% not sure if you have to have a store subscription to have this option to put your store on time away. I believe you actually might. That said, I have the most basic store. I don't know if it's called the basic or starter store. I pay $4.95 a month, so you don't need a higher tiered subscription to do this. I pay $60 a year from an eBay store, and it allows this option for time away. And depending on how long I'm going to be away, sometimes I'm just gone for a weekend, sometimes it's 5 days, 10 days, 14 days, 30 days, depending on how long I'm away, determines on what options I'll be using and showing and talking this out with you. So if you go down here to the time away, my store has been shut off for the past 7 days or so. I just came in before to end the time away, see the scheduled time away. Just for the purposes of the video, I wanted to show it from scratch so you could kind of see what it's looked like. But I actually did start my original scheduled time away was March 22nd. So I'm going to do this edit time away. And here's the options that you get. You can pause sales for up to 30 days while you're away. Basically, if you do that, nobody can buy your items for up to 30 days, like it says. And you also have this option here, allow sales for 15 days while you're away. So actually buyers can still buy your stuff for up to 15 days. And I do use that on occasion. Those occasions that I use that for are as if I'm only going to be gone for like a weekend or up to maximum like 7 days. Anytime I've done this for longer, like say I'm going away for 2 weeks, you start to get messages from people who are like, hey, I purchased this 10 days ago. Why hasn't it arrived? And then you have to go and explain, well, you know, I'm on vacation and eBay, you probably missed the banner or the notification from eBay that says that I'm away. It's really easy to miss. So you start to get those kind of messages, and then some people just want to cancel because they've been waiting so long for their item. So it gets kind of annoying if you're going to be gone too long and you allow people to buy your items. That all said, this is one thing I would critique eBay and wish something they would change. When you go on vacation, there is a yellow tab on your listings when you go away that notifies any potential buyers, anybody that's viewing the listing page that says seller is currently away, there may be a delay in your shipping. So it does let them know, but it's very small. It's at the top of the page and it's really easy to miss. So I have sympathy for folks that certainly miss that message and wait around for like a week wondering where their stuff is, because it's really easy to miss. And some folks that I mentioned, you know, when customers write and say, hey, where's my stuff? It's been a while. I have to explain to them, yeah, it's really easy to miss. And I'm sorry that happened, but I am on vacation. I'm happy to, you know, if you want your money back and cancel the sale, I'm happy to do that. I'm sorry this happened. But most of the time, with your explanation, they just say, okay, I'll keep waiting. But pause sales for up to 30 days away. I use this option, again, if I'm going to be gone longer than, say, a week. 7 or 8 days is the max when I would ever choose for allowing sales for while I'm away, just to prevent unhappy customers. So what I did on this particular trip is I paused sales for 30 days while I'm away, and you just choose whatever your start date is. I'll choose today, basically choose right now, and the end date. So I always put 1 day after I'm gonna get back. So I think I'm getting back at this point about April 3rd. So I will be choosing the 3rd at 11:30 p.m., the end of the day. So this basically is telling the eBay system that come April 4th, I'm back in business. I am at home. I am ready to ship stuff out, and it notifies anybody that's looking at my items that I will be back and ready for stuff to be purchased. If you do allow sales for 15 days, it does give you this option as well. So pause sales, and then it's really simple. You hit apply, and that affects your entire store. Then I also do this edit message. This is an automatic message, so if anybody writes to you while you are away, it sends this automatic message to the messaging system. You can customize it whatever you want, and you do have to choose the start date and end date to match it up to your vacation days, obviously. And I just write letting people know that I'm away, I'm adventuring, and I won't be shipping anything here, as you can see, until April 3rd. eBay still sends you messages or notifications when you get a message from a potential buyer or buyer. So I do say I'll be checking my messages and responding as necessary. Basically anything that's important that pops up is when I'll come on here and I'll still send a manual message. So then I'll just hit apply there. And that's as simple as it goes. So depending on the context of my trip, I get a lot of questions about how do I run my business? How do I continue to sell stuff while I'm away? So in this case where I'm gone for more than 2 weeks, I don't have access to everything that I have down, in my normal, down in Atlanta. Basically, I have whatever my store has 200 items or whatever in it right now, which I don't have. I don't travel with those items. But if I wanted to continue listing stuff and selling stuff like I do, that's why I actually have 2 accounts. So to summarize, basically what I do, if I'm gone for 7 days or thereabouts, then I'll still allow, I'll choose that 15-day option that I'll allow items to be sold on my account for up to 15 days while I'm away. And then if it's anything longer than 7-ish days, certainly if it's 2 weeks or more, then I choose the pause my store and don't allow anything on my main store to be sold for up to 30 days. And I just use my second eBay account for my traveling account. On the occasion that you're gone for more than 30 days, you can basically just go back in and at any point in your trip, say it's been 15 days and you know you're going to be gone for, say, another 30 days, you can basically just go in, end your current time away and shift the dates. The initial time that you go in to set the schedule, the time away, it just gives you 30 days from that date, but you could always end it and edit and restart it at any time. So it just gives you a 30-day window max initially, but you can keep extending that.